Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me. It's Monday, July 22nd, 2024. It's my second run at this. Apparently, I said something I shouldn't have the first time. So hopefully we can get through this, in particular because I'm doing this episode without coffee. So hopefully I'll stay awake long enough and have enough energy. My apologies. We'll get through this. So with this enough joking around, let's get right into the markets. We've got a market risk indicator showing basically a little bit of a pullback that we've had this past week. So we'll go through that. We've got fear grade index neutral territory. So investor optimism is waning and greed is beginning to take a hit. So we've got new retailers. They're beginning to experience more losses or their first losses because we had the first week since April. Now, anyone that's been in the market for a while knows we haven't had corrections or pullbacks that have been basically just running on this market. So this correction really is not much of anything. It's a big nada. So I am expecting at the very least a dead cat bounce today. And that is market saying so, say that basically even if you're dropping a dead cat, it's going to bounce. So stocks up for a bit. We've got the 10-year yield. Yields are down. The price of the 10-year yield is going up. That is also showing a fear trade, if you will, flight to safety, trying to get the yields. And so yields go down as more people pile into it, and that drives the price up. So with this, we also had the relative strength of the dollar gained a bit, and that put pressure on stocks as well. So between the two, we've got weak stocks at the moment, but they seem to be recovering a bit. We've got volatility index and gold up. Okay, futures are up. So looking a bit more positive this morning. So even on the back of a very weak performance in the stock market last week, if you will, we're also watching copper. Copper as a commodity dropped. That is another industrial indicator about the real economy, like what production is actually going on in the economy. As that drops, it's used in building materials, electric vehicles across the board. So demand for it coming down, showing pullback ahead. The Fed is beginning to watch some of these other things, regardless of what they're saying. Their large indicators going to be really unemployment, not watching the rates so much. I don't think we'll get to 2%. If they do, they're going to overshoot it. And that's part of what Jerome Powell was saying. So with this calendar for today, nothing really of note scheduled as far as reports or speakers. We've got the earnings will mean much more. So we've got large companies beginning to come in. We've got the first of the Magnificent Seven starting in this week. So today, Truist Bank, Verizon, we've got a few others here, Zions Bank. And then we are looking more at also UPS for shipping transport, GM, General Motors. We'll talk about them in a moment. Lockheed Martin is war stock. They do a lot of weaponry, have a lot large government contracts. So with this is what moved the market. Current administration not running again. This is what matters to the stock market now, actually is looking forward to who's going to be in office. They're looking at the policies as well as leaders around the world. So just looking at what's going to happen with the stock market and whether they're going to allow rates to cut. So moving forward, we've got CBOE announcing 5 Ether ETFs will be listed Tuesday, depending on the regulatory effectiveness. So this is going to be possibly, it's my opinion, not fact, buy the rumors, sell the news. So leading up to it, Ethereum is going up in price, but it could have a reversal once these come out. We've got meme coins, political meme coins. Now, these are funny. Solana-based VP token is now going up as the other one dropped out, so that one is going down. I want to say a quick note on this because I really don't believe she's going to be the main runner. Now, even though she says she's running, she has not been nominated for the party yet. This guy right here, if you don't know who he is, he's in charge, so to speak, of California right now. I think we're going to see him and or a repeat of who the former president ran against the first time. She is basically the wife of another former president, and I think we're going to see probably the two together. So, Hillary, pardon me, don't believe I said that. Okay, so Bank of Japan said to see weak consumer spending complicating the rate cut. What is this about? We're going to talk about the currency war that is going on because that is going to possibly be a shock to the United States stock market. So, what's going on? We are watching the yen is a dying currency. So, Bank of Japan now, they're caught between a rock and a hard place. The consumer spending is weak because inflation is higher and the people don't have the money to afford it, of course, so they're spending less. At the same time, they've got issues with the currency weakness abroad. So, trying to bolster this, they were already labeled a currency manipulator, and so they've been roped into kind of doing some dirty work for the United States. So, we've got the heads of these other nations watching what is going on politically in the United States, not so much for the person, but more for the policies that will be coming out of it. Will they continue these currency wars? So we can watch the Bank of Japan as to what we've got to look forward to. Now, the dollar, don't get me wrong, is still the reserve currency and it's going to be the last to fall. So we'll see others fall first. And I think the last two will be the euro and the US dollar, as well as the sterling. So we've got a few others going to watch first. China surprised with the rate cut after the president there had a big meeting. Now China's in a different situation. Why is this? Their debt is different. They've got a larger GDP. They've got much more areas they can absorb this, so to speak. They've got different reserves. They've got large reserves in gold and precious resources. So, totally different situation than Japan. They are also looking at moving to basically their CBDC, bolstering that. They've got the Yuan is already out. So as soon as they work out how they are replacing the yuan with that, the rate cuts don't really matter. They won't matter going forward. So it's kind of a surface frosting, if you will, and they're working everything underneath. United States is becoming similar. The rate cuts are becoming irrelevant. And the reason that is because everything else, the forces all around it, are taking their place. So we've got two good examples to watch in the two different directions between Japan and China. Major currency wars going on. So back in the United States, we can also keep an eye on the pulse in the banking sector. So Arkansas Bank is this one, OZK. They're looking to escape the CRE doom narrative. CRE is commercial real estate. So they're exposed highly to these rates. So rate cuts could affect them. However, they need to cut their costs, and many, many more are still going to go bankrupt, get purchased for pennies on the dollar, or just plain get absorbed or merge acquisition with other banks. Okay, I'd like to go a little bit into specific companies because these are the large earners that are going to move stocks this week. Meta, they're cutting the budget by 20% as their second quarter earnings call looms. So they want to show that they're cutting costs and they're going to survive in order to keep their stock from taking a hit. We've got Tesla has been taking a hit as far as numbers recently. And it's because nobody basically is buying electric vehicles. Demand is down. So we've got GM and Ford are taking a hit because of this and the software outage. But at the same time, we've got Tesla being innovative again. Now, humanoid robots for internal use next year, but notice that it is directly related to Tesla as a company. So Elon is the head of several companies. He's tying these two together. I believe it's not a mistake. And they've also got the AI that is getting fed grok through the platform X. So something else to watch. I'm a little bit more bullish Tesla in the long run because I think he's going to restructure in a way that will make that company run. So we'll see in the future. He's got a few hurdles he's got to get past first. Okay, so I'd like to bring up the oil market for a moment. Morgan Stanley saying they're likely to be in surplus next year. That means oil coming down. And there's ways that it can drop, but really what this means is less production, less demand, less producing, and that means the economy is going down. So, along with the copper, paired with that copper, watching these two together, and the third one is shipping, watching the shipping industry. These are telling us the reality in the economy for the United States and then also globally. So, we also heard from uh, airline executives saying air travel demand normalizing after this word I'm not going to say again. There was a boom that was caused by everyone being cooped up and then they all wanted to travel. So now that is kind of filtering out. They all had massive profits due to this, but now it's going the other direction, especially with the halts the other day. So this is the last few things I want to touch on. Doesn't have much to do with the market directly. However, I think they're very important. So we've got uh, graphene. Graphene is kind of like metal. Their stocks are soaring. Now, this is said because soon to be found in every electronic device on the planet. And one firm holds the patent. Guess which firm that is and who that firm is owned by, or who their investors are, rather, I should say. Okay, so with that, Bitcoin, we've got Argentina looking to tame crypto market as money laundering fears draw scrutiny. Well, basically, they're moving more to cryptocurrency. People are trusting it more than their local currency. They're going through so much with their inflation and the disruptions there, the policies changing. So they're all moving to a money that they can use or currency. So, with this, I did want to bring this up also food production facing a squeeze from this policy. The farming sector is beginning to raise red flags now. So, this is over in Europe. Energy and environmental policies are crushing the agricultural sector, but this is also happening in the United States. They're cranking down on this, and only larger corporations and larger investors, billionaires, if you will, are the largest owners of agricultural land in the United States as well as over in Europe. And you can look this up for yourselves, but I just want to make you aware that they are going to be taking control of the food. And I want you all to be ready if any of this should happen, if all of a sudden you are told to leave the area, something is shut down, you have to shelter in place, as I was speaking about yesterday, just be prepared. With this one, prepare your energy if you can. There's solar and it's on sale. So, with that, I wish you all a wonderful Monday. And until I see you again, my friends, of course, stay free.